We're live, Judge.
Okay, let's try it again. Welcome to County Court of Law number 6 in the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, operating remotely via Zoom hearings. And we have several motions to revoke probation today and motions to adjudicate guilt and revoke probations today. Initially, let's talk about cause number 628357, Style State of Texas versus Rodney Allen Taylor, represented by attorney David Garcia. And Mr. Garcia, you're requesting a continuance, or there's some other issue? What you got?
Judge, my client's been working through his probation. Unfortunately, he picked up this assault case out of 7. I've conferred with the prosecutor. I think there's a chance that I might be able to get that case dismissed. And since he has been working through his probation, one of the issues was the class that he hadn't registered for or completed. He's now registered for it. He's going to be taking that later this month. So I'm hoping we can reset this. Hopefully I can get that case out of 7 dismissed, and then we can come back and take care of his MTR.
Let me ask you this. I assume your ultimate goal in this MTR is to not get Mr. Taylor revoked. Is that correct?
That is the goal, Judge.
Okay. And have you and our ADA, Mr. Maru, chatted about the possibility of an agreement on this case?
We did not, but he doesn't have a problem with me trying to take care of the case out of 7 because that would probably give us more options to take to you.
The judge, is the state's position that currently as it sits, without that county court 7 case being resolved, the state would have to move forward with revocation?
I'm sorry, say that one more time. Without the pending assault case, then what would happen?
It just opens up more options to either continuing or doing something else with the assault case, and it being a family violence kind of ties the state's hands with having to revoke.
All right, Mr. Garcia, I'm going to give you my word that I'm not going to revoke Mr. Taylor and put him in jail. The possibility still exists. I may revoke his deferred adjudication. That depends on argument of both sides and what he's done on his record. I don't see anything real aggravating about his record other than the fact he didn't finish the DOEP course. Is that correct, Susan?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
So with that understanding, Mr. Garcia, would you be willing to go forward on this hearing today?
Judge, I appreciate it, but I think everyone's going to look a lot better, and the state's going to have more options if I can get that case out of 7 dismissed, because I think it was a huge misunderstanding. And so we could go forward today, but I'd much rather give it 2 weeks and see what I can do.
Here's my very big concern, which is obvious to everyone who plays this game. It may be a year before you get around to getting anything done in that court. And I understand that. That's why I said if we can get 2 weeks, Judge, at most a month. But if you'll only give me 2 weeks, I'll take it and see what we can do. I mean, you and I both know a lot of times they won't dismiss this, but I think they have what they would call a hostile client or victim or witness on their side in this case. Ms. Gross, are you with us today?
Yes, sir.
Aside from the pending ABI on Mr. Taylor, what other issues do we have on his probation? Let's say we didn't have an ABI. What has he done, good or bad?
He continues to smoke marijuana. He hasn't done his drug offender education class. When he was arrested, they cut off the scram bracelet, and he did not restrap after he got out of jail. It took him 10 days to restrap his device. And he's missed 5 months of reporting in total. He's had 7 violation reports, and this is his 2nd motion to revoke. At minimum, we would request that if he's not revoked and sentenced to jail, that he have a reform judgment and he start all over.
All right, Mr. Garcia, under the circumstances, I'm going to deny in the nicest possible way your motion for continuance. I will tell you, I am not going to totally revoke Mr. Taylor and order a jail sentence on him. The probability is he's going to lose his deferred status and start over is what it looks like to me from what's going on. Would that be something equitable to the defense?
Well, let me speak to him, Judge, and see what we can do.
Now, what that saves you is if he goes forward and tries to get the other one dismissed and in fact he's convicted of it, I'm not going to have a whole lot of options at that point not to revoke him. So that's another issue that you might want to consider.
True. Thanks, Judge.
All right. Well, why don't y'all, Pat, send them to a room and they can come back when they're ready.
Mr. Garcia, go to 1 where you were originally, and I will send Mr. Taylor to 1 as well, okay?
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. Are we ready on Daniel Castellanos, Mr. Vasquez?
Yes, Judge, we're ready.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
We're present and ready.
All right, fair enough. This is cause number 601003, State of Texas versus Daniel Castellanos. This is a recommended motion to revoke community supervision. Mr. Castellanos, at this time, I need you to identify your document. First, hearing by video conference. Second one is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Are these your signatures on each of these documents, sir?
Can you repeat that one more time, Your Honor?
Yeah.
Judge, I think we're running into that issue. Unless you're being spoken to, can you please mute your microphone? There's feedback. No one can hear Judge. Whenever you're spoken to, you can unmute it, answer, then mute it back.
Mr. Castellanos, it looks to me like you're muted on your window that I see. There you are. You're good. Let's try again. I have 2 documents that purport to have your signature and your attorney's signature on them, and I need to confirm with you that, in fact, this is your signature. The first document is titled Defendant's Consent to MTR Hearing by Video Conference. Is that your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Thank you. And the second document is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Vasquez, as attorney for Mr. Castellanos, is this your signature on each of these documents?
It is.
For the record, representing the defense is Mr. Paul Vasquez, representing the state is Assistant Criminal District Attorney Nicholas Maru, and representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I will swear at this time. Ms. Gross, please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
My understanding, Mr. Vasquez, is this is an uncontested motion to revoke probation. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. On the second amended motion to revoke community supervision, how does Mr. Castellanos plead?
She's going to plead true. But Daniel, you have to say it.
True, Your Honor.
And thank you, sir. And Ms. Gross, what's the status of Mr. Castellanos' probation, please?
Judge, his reporting has been good. We last saw him on December the 9th of 2020. He has only paid $122 towards his fees. He has a balance of $975. He is delinquent $209. His 36 hours of community service were probated. He has not provided proof of enrollment or completion of DWI education, victim impact panel, or CATSNP. He is currently on Smart Start Mobile, and he is testing it 6 times a day. He's had 38 skip tests. He's had 2 positives for alcohol, one on December the 5th at 0.030, and he had somebody else blow into the machine. And then again on December the 12th at 0.022, and he failed to retest. And he went into lockout on December 20th of 2020. The officer is recommending that he be continued on Smart Start at 6 times a day, and that moving forward for the remaining term of probation, that he be placed on 0 tolerance. Criminal history.
Have any prior offenses?
No criminal history.
Okay, Mr. Vasquez, what is their defense requesting? I'm having a hard time getting Mr. Castellanos to stop drinking.
Judge, and that is very understandable. Daniel and I have spoken in depth. He does have an issue, Judge. He's admitted it to me, and he's admitting it to the court that he does need help, and he will tell you that himself if you would like for him to. What I have prepared Daniel for, obviously is the worst case scenario. And I was like, Daniel, I mean, if you keep drinking and continue drinking, he's going to end up in inpatient treatment, for anywhere from 3 to 6 months or possibly longer. And so last time Daniel and I spoke, I told him that if he truly wants help and if he wants, to get away from the disease itself, he does need help, and he'll tell you that he cannot do it on his own. I'm just always hesitate on inpatient treatment right off the bat, but I just want to do what's best for Daniel, and only Daniel knows the answer to that, Judge. And I just like for him to tell the court himself what he would like for us to try to do to help him in fighting this disease. I mean, Daniel is military. He's in the reserve. But Daniel, you're Marine still. I know he just. I think he just got back a few weeks ago, or maybe he's getting ready to leave again on orders. And so this is something he's dealing with, Judge, and I just want to try to help him the best way I can.
State, what's your recommendation, or do you have any questions for Paul or Mr. Castellano?
Judge, the state is going to recommend revocation, and it seems Mr. Castellanos has a serious problem with drinking, and that he's not getting the message, but that he needs help. And sometimes inpatient can help put into perspective when you're taken away and you have a chance to really reflect. So that's the state's position.
Hey, Mr. Castellanos, what'd you do in the military, sir? Or maybe you're still doing it. I don't know.
I did infantry, Your Honor.
Are you a reservist at this time?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Are you a Marine at this time?
Yes, I am.
Been to the war?
What was that, Your Honor?
Been to the war?
No, I have not, Your Honor.
All right. We got two options here. A is revocation with a possibility of 180 days in the Bexar County Jail. Or B, you need to volunteer to go to inpatient drug and alcohol rehab, which would be 120 days. You'd have to go in jail starting probably Monday and sit there for 2 weeks to a month. I tell you exactly how long you'd sit there to be cleared medically to get into the substance abuse treatment facility. Now, the possibility exists that's going to save your life, but you and your attorney can go off in a chat room and chat about it, but this is way too aggravated to not look at those two and only those two possibilities of outcome. So you can choose to go to inpatient with us, and I'll keep you on probation. Or you can choose not to go to inpatient, and I'm going to revoke you and give you a jail sentence.
Can we go into a breakout room?
Paul, do you want to go to a chat room with your client and discuss that?
Yes.
Okay, Pat, can you send them out, please?
Judge, are we going to move forward on any cases, or do you want to wait and see what happens here?
No, we're going to move forward. We'll come back. Okay.
I'm gonna put you in for Paul.
Okay.
And Mr. Castellanos, let me see where he is.
The shows I've been assigned to 3, Pat.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to see why I put you in 3. Let me put you in 4, Paul. There you go.
Got it.
Okay.
We haven't heard back from Mr. Garcia, correct? We've not heard back.
I think he's still in a breakout room with his client, Judge.
Mr. Stern, are you ready to go forward on Mr. Corona?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This is called 627-098. State of Texas versus Alejandro Corona. This is a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Mr. Corona, I have 2 documents to identify, and I need to point out with you that the Defendant's consent to MTR hearing by video conference has a typographical error on Mr. Corona's name where it says State of Texas versus, and that needs to be corrected before this goes forward. His name is there, it's just there's an extra couple of letters involved in it. So, Mr. Corona, with regard to these two documents, one titled Defendant's Consent to MTR Hearing by Video Conference, and one titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, are these your two signatures, one on each of these documents, sir?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Stern, as attorney for Mr. Corona, are these your signatures on each of these documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
Before I forget, representing the state on all these cases is Mr. Nicholas Maru, Assistant Criminal District Attorney, and representing the Bear County CSD is Mr. Corona, previously sworn. And my understanding is, Mr. Chairman, this is an uncontested motion to revoke probation. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah, it's uncontested.
And Mr. Corona, on your motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, how do you plead, sir?
True.
And what's the status of Mr. Corona's probation, please, Ms. Grote?
His reporting has been good. He does reside out of county. He has paid $2,011 towards his fees and has a balance of $48. He's current at this time. His case is due to expire February 17th of this year. He was not assessed any classes at the time he was granted probation. He's had one positive drug test for marijuana. His officer is requesting that the probation be extended 1 year, that you add a drug offender education program. He submit to weekly drug testing and show substantial compliance within 30 days. He has no criminal history. This is his first violation report, first MTR.
So since February 18th, 2020, when he went on probation, what has he done on probation that's positive?
He's paid all but $48 of his fees. He had no classes, Judge.
All right, has he paid anything on his restitution?
He has paid all but $48.
State, what's your recommendation on Mr. Corona's situation?
Along with probation, Judge, I believe, and I've spoke to defense on this, that, you know, we have this one violation and it was a weekend moment. I believe there was a passing. I'm not sure if Mr. Corona wants to talk about that a little bit, and also he's a new father as well. So we want to, the only difference that we would ask for is instead of extending him for another year, since he has completed basically everything except the violation for the marijuana, we would ask that he be extended 6 months instead of a year.
Hey, Mr. Corona, what are you doing when you're not smoking marijuana? You got a job? Are you going to school? What are you doing?
Yes, sir. I've held a job down at Amazon the whole time. So it's been about, I'm a delivery driver, sir.
Have you seen my name come across your desk many times?
No. I work out here in Houston.
I got you.
Yes, sir.
Judge, he's been there for a year and a half. And as the state was saying, his uncle, his 60-year-old uncle, passed away late October. It was his uncle that was really close to. He passed away from COVID. So he had a weak moment. He's been doing well other than that one moment that he had. He's paid everything. He's telling the court today that he can donate the 1/2 of the community service hours within 2 weeks. He feels pretty confident of that. And then he can finish off the balance of it within 2 to 3 weeks after that by actually doing this community service hours.
Is graffiti a Class A or a Class B? 100 to 750 Class B, probably?
Yes, Your Honor.
What was Mr. Corona's original fine on this case, you recall?
It was $500, Your Honor.
How many hours community service?
80.
And Judge, if I could say one more thing.
Sure.
On the restitution, it is noted as a violation, but I think you probably know this already by by the CLO saying that everything's been paid, but just to let you know that that restitution was paid in full.
Okay, thank you.
That's correct, Your Honor.
The court accepts your plea of true to all conditions motion to revoke, excuse me, to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. I grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation. I find you guilty of the offense of graffiti, $100 to $750. I sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 6 months. It says a $500 fine plus court costs, 80 hours community service, DOEP course, weekly report, and UA, not weekly report, weekly UAs. If you show me 4 clean UAs in a row, I'll take you off of that. And make sure we don't have any more marijuana problems. And let's see, credit for any monies paid, any programs completed, or anything else done on this probation in a positive sense he gets credit for. What did I miss, Susan?
That should do it, Your Honor.
Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Corona?
No, Judge.
You win,
No,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Your attorney got you off this one. It's not gonna happen again. Do we understand each other, sir?
All right, Mr. Corona, I have some directions for you. Please unmute you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even know I was muted the whole time.
That's okay. Within 48 hours, you are going to be contacted by the probation department. You need to go through an orientation again. It will be done via Zoom. You will sign all your documents online. It is your responsibility that if you do not hear from the probation department within 48 hours, that you call them, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a pencil and paper handy?
No, I don't. Give me 1 second.
I'll write that down.
Okay, thank you.
You'll need to call 210-335-7200 and ask for the intake department. You need to let them know that the judge reformed your judgment today and you need to sign your new conditions and see when they're going to do that, okay? If you fail to take care of that, if you haven't heard from them, it's gonna come back on you and we're gonna be right back here and things are not gonna end up as good as they did today, okay?
Okay.
You have any questions?
Corona and Caesar,
Yes.
because he was adjudicated, I have to send the application, the probation application, and the data sheet to y'all. I will do that as soon as we finish with all the meetings. That needs to be filled out so it can send to the probation department, okay?
Fair enough.
Okay.
We'll get it to you.
Anything further
Yeah.
to the defense on Mr. Corona?
No, Judge.
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Corona. As far as I'm concerned, Caesar, he's still eligible for early termination. Once he does everything and he shows us we're off of the marijuana for a while, I don't have a problem cutting loose. So fair enough?
Okay, Judge. We'll put a
Thank
motion on file. Thank you, Judge.
Thank
All
you.
right, and Mr. Corona, also touch base with your probation officer and let her know what happened today. So give her a call, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, good luck to you.
Okay, I see Mr. Vasquez, Mr.
Thank you,
Trout,
man.
back on the record on 601003, State of Texas versus Daniel Castellanos. Mr. Vasquez, what did you and Mr. Castellanos decide?
He's going to do the treatment.
Wonderful. Excellent choice. Susan, when do you want him to report? Monday enough? Okay.
What was that, Your Honor?
Throw us with the probation to the jail status.
We have to do all the paperwork first, Your Honor. His officer is gonna have to send all that to him after I create it, and I won't get it created till later today. And then they'll probably send it to him tomorrow. So the earliest I would say that you should have him report to jail would be on Wednesday at 5 p.m.
Okay. Is that okay with the defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
And if Susan, if you have not completed all those things by then, we may push it back further. Possibility.
You broke up, Judge. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
You don't get your paperwork done properly for whatever reason by that time, and we would just push it back a day or two or whatever it takes.
Yes, sir.
Susan, if there is a delay, can you call me or send me an email and I'll let him know? As of right now, reporting Wednesday at 5, but if there's a delay, could you let me know and I'll let him know?
Yes. It'll either be me or his officer.
Okay.
I'm going to order the minimum time, which is 120 days, maximum time, 180 days. They may talk to us at some point in the future and say he's doing well or he's not doing well, depending on whatever they say about how long he stays there, but that's the minimum time. Okay. Mr. Castellanos, in cause 601003, the court accepts your plea of truth, all conditions on the motion to revoke probation with an explanation. I deny the state's motion to revoke your probation, or you continued on probation with all prior requirements and sanction at this time. Alter and amending your conditions to include substance abuse treatment facility for 120 days, annotating on file that you volunteered. And as Ms. Gross pointed out, best case scenario, you would report to the Bexar County Jail on Thursday, January 7th, 2021 at 5 p.m. to get medically cleared so you can run over to SAF and get that. Susan, we need to extend him, or is he okay?
No, Judge, he has enough time.
Anything else?
Not at this time. Just Mr. Castellanos, watch your email for your documents to be signed. And,
My email is DC.
I think I have your email already.
Okay.
But just watch your email, and your officer will be sending you the documents, and you need to sign those and immediately send those back so that they can get all your medical set up.
I understand.
Okie dokie. And if you have any questions, you can always contact your officer. When you get off of this meeting and done with your attorney, just call Ms. Garcia, let her know what happened, and that, you know, you're going to need to get the paperwork done, and that I'll be sending it to her later this afternoon.
Got it.
All right. Good luck.
Hello, Mr. Castellanos. Thank you. Okay. Do we have everybody here for the plea on Mr. Sanchez? No.
Your Honor, the attorney is out of town. I got an email that his flight had been delayed and that he was going to try to sign in, but at this point, I do not have him.
Do we have any, is he appointed or retained?
He is appointed, Your Honor.
Do you have any defense counsel available today that are Spanish speakers? Take over?
Your Honor, the only one we have right now is Paul and Mr. Garcia. And Mr. Garcia is in a breakout room.
Okay. Well, let's wait till Mr. Garcia comes back and see if he'd be willing to represent Mr. Sanchez. And I'm trying to get our interpreter out of here as soon as possible, but we're having.
I understand.
Pat, can you put me in the breakout room with Jackson?
Sure.
Okay, Your Honor, may I put Mr. Dew and Paul? Thank you. Paul, I'm going to put you in 4 and Mr. Dew.
Thank you.
4 in a breakout room, Mr. Jackson. You should be able to go back, Paul.
Got it.
Thanks.
And have we heard from Mr. Brooks?
Mr. Brooks is currently taking a plea in the 399th, and as soon as he's finished, he'll be coming, Your Honor. And then the only one that we're waiting for also is Mr. Garcia is in a breakout room still with his defendant.
Why don't you break into the breakout room and ask Mr. Garcia if everything's okay?
I will. Yes, sir. Your Honor, Mr. Garcia says they're just about finished conferring, but they have not finished the paperwork. I told him let them confer and then he can come back here and we'll discuss the paperwork at that time.
Okay. Carmen is waving at me. Carmen, what's up? Carmen can't hear. We have an audio issue with Carmen.
Chat. Okay. Judge, hold on. Hold on. Okay. Judge, you need to go into where I believe you have on the bottom where the breakout room is, interpretation. Do you have that next to it on the bottom where all the other things are? Do you have one of those, Your Honor?
I have it. Am I supposed to punch it?
It should say interpretation. It's a globe icon.
And it says English and Spanish.
Hit English so you can hear her. Susan needs to do the same
I got
thing.
it. Okay.
And Nicholas needs to do the same thing.
Now I can't hear Pat.
What do I have to do?
Go down to the bottom. You're going to see a little globe. Hit that where it says interpretation. And then you need to say language English.
Okay, I did it.
That way you can hear
Yes.
her. If you do not do that, you cannot hear her.
I can't hear Pat anymore though.
Yes.
Okay. Will Brooks is coming in, Judge. That's okay. You don't need to hear me.
Sure. Mr. Brooks.
Sí, sí le escucho.
Will, you need to turn your microphone on.
Oh, okay.
There you go. We haven't done an interpreter on Zoom before, so
This is our first, so we're sorry, Carmen.
So does Will have to do the same thing on his?
If he wants to hear the interpreter.
Explain to Will what he needs to do. Pat, can you hear me?
Yes,
Explain to Will what he needs to do.
Will, you need to go to the bottom where it has a little global icon.
Mm-hmm.
Hit that and then hit English.
Bueno.
Okay. Okay.
Boom, 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 boom. We still don't have an attorney for Mr. Sanchez yet.
No, Mr. Sanchez, like I said, his flight was delayed. He was going to try to log in, but he could not say when or if he was going to be able to do it. Do you wish to?
Do we just want to reset?
Probably it would be better to reset. Do you want him to do it tomorrow or do you want him to do it next Monday or Thursday?
Is Mr. Sanchez in jail?
I can't hear you, Judge.
Sanchez in jail?
Again, I'm sorry. I'm getting feedback.
Is Mr. Sanchez in jail?
No, he's not in jail.
Reset for next Tuesday. Aren't we doing this again next Tuesday?
Next Monday.
Monday, rather.
Yeah, next Monday.
Wouldn't that give us enough time to figure it out?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right.
Carmen, is that okay? We're going to reset and I will send everything.
And ask Carmen to explain that.
Okay.
To Sanchez. We don't have an attorney here.
Señor Sánchez.
David, wait. David.
Vamos a cambiar el cita. Vamos a hacerlo el otro. Oh, no, it's going to be next Wednesday. I'm sorry, because we have, yeah.
Okay. Why don't you ask Mr. Garcia?
Monday.
Taking this thing, so Mr. Garcia speaks Spanish.
Okay.
David, do you speak Spanish?
To some degree, yes, Judge. What do you need?
Well, we've got Mr. Sanchez, who is a Spanish speaker, and we had Mr. Otero, who was his original court-appointed attorney, but Mr. Otero is not available for whatever reason. So I didn't know if we could continue with the Sanchez today, or we can get a continuance. Obviously, you can get whatever you want if you want to take over this case.
Let's get a continuance, and I'll take over the case.
All right, let's do that.
Okay. We will reset this for next Wednesday at 2.
Sí, pero mi pregunta era que como tengo que pagar los aparatos o necesito que trabajar y pues no, todavía me tienen de home arrest. Eso es lo que quería pedir permiso de si podía trabajar para poder hacer dinero. De otra manera no voy a poder pagar los aparatos que me pusieron en el pie. Y son 2
So is
aparatos.
Mr. Sanchez going to be my client?
Yes.
So he wants to ask for leave to work, Judge. It's what he's asking for because he has house arrest.
Absolutely, we can fix that.
Okay.
I'm unfamiliar with Mr. Garcia's case other than what's on, Mr. Sanchez's case, other than what's on this document. But if I have him on full house arrest, we can waive that, no problem.
Señor
Sí,
Sánchez,
es por eso que,
el juez está diciendo que te va a dejar ir a trabajar. ¿Trabajas en el día o noche?
Trabajo de noche, entro a las 6:30 de la tarde, salgo a las 5:15 de la mañana.
So Judge, if he can be excused or be allowed to work from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., that would work.
Now that he has an attorney, I'm going to waive all GPS. So he's welcome to go to work as often as he wants to go.
All right, great. Thanks, Judge.
Can't take alcohol while he's doing any of these things.
¿Cuándo me va a quitar el GPS?
Lo va a hacer hoy. Te va a
He needs to
tumbar
contact his
condiciones.
pretrial
Así
officer.
puedes
¿Hoy
trabajar.
puedo ir a entregar?
Y te van a dar otra cita a las 2 en la semana que viene, on Wednesday.
El día
¿Es
13.
cuando me lo van a quitar?
Lo van a quitar hoy,
Pero,
este día. Puedes ir para trabajar esta noche.
ok, está bien.
You need to,
Entonces, pero hoy
gonna
puedo
need
ir
to
a quitarme el
contact-
aparato y a ir al trabajo a llevar el papeleo que me dieron.
So he's on a GPS. I guess you're gonna have to put in the paperwork.
I'm trying to tell you that he's going to need to contact his pretrial officer. The judge will send an order after court today, so it will most likely be sometime tomorrow.
No. Puedes ir mañana a la oficina de pretrial y ahí te van a tener los papeles del corte que dicen que lo puedes terminar condiciones del GPS. ¿Es claro?
Sí, pero
Señor Sánchez.
¿me van a mandar la dirección por Gmail o cómo lo van a hacer?
Do you have an address for pretrial services? Judge, why don't let me meet with him in a meeting room after, and I'll explain that all to him.
Sure, that'd be great.
And then as far as Mr. Taylor, we're ready to proceed, but we don't know what paperwork you require.
Pat? We need 2 documents. We need a defendant's consent to MTR hearing by video conference. And we need a trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. And I don't know if Pat can make those available and get that.
Hold a minute. Mr. Garcia, Mr. Sanchez, Carmen, break room 2. Okay, now, what is it you need from who, Your Honor?
I need to know if we can get documents made up today for Mr. Taylor and Mr. Garcia, or are we going to have to get a continuance to do that anyway?
I will have to send them documents, and I will do that before today is over.
Let's do this. David, how about we do this next Wednesday? Is that when our MTRs are next week? And that gives you at least a week to do your magic instead of the 2 weeks you're requesting.
That sounds great, Judge.
All right, let's do
So,
it. Otherwise,
both
my deal.
Mr. Sanchez and Mr. Taylor reset to the 30th. No, wait, that's not the 30th.
Next Wednesday is going to be the 13th.
The 13th of January. And is Mr.
Okay,
Taylor?
so we are resetting both of Mr. Garcia's for next Wednesday, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Perfect. So is Mr. Taylor excused today, Judge? And I'll go meet with Mr. Sanchez and explain everything to him?
Correct.
All right. Mr. Taylor, you're excused. We'll talk later. Have a good day. Thanks,
All right,
Judge.
thank you. Thank you. Okay, now. Señor Sánchez, necesitas regresar al breakout room. Señor Sánchez.
Can Mr. Sanchez not hear you?
Señor Sánchez, necesitas regresar al breakout room para hablar con el abogado.
I came back off of the interpreter thing and just came back to regular, turned it off. And not, maybe that's what y'all need to do so we can talk normally. Maybe he's still on the interpreter one. I don't know. Mr. Sanchez, can you hear me, sir? Senor Sanchez. Don't know what to tell you. Don't look like you can hear.
Mr. Sánchez, señor Sánchez, ¿me puedes oír? Let me go and get the interpreter. He just walked off, so I don't know what's going on. Your Honor, can I put Paul and Mr. Dew in a breakout room so they can go over the paperwork?
We're good.
No, but you have to go over the paperwork so he can sign it. He hasn't signed it.
Okay, okay.
I know. Paul, you were in what room before? 4? Okay, both of you can go back into 4. Mr. Duke, go back into 4. And then see if you can find the email. It has your name on it with the paperwork. Thank you.
Sí.
Okay, now we've got Will and his.
¿Mande? Patín, video. Nomás dice, de los 3 puntitos, nomás dice more. Dice chat, lenguaje, interpretation, raise hard, high video. Okay. Mhm.
I have no clue. I've tried to put him in. Let me take him out and resend him in.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I tried to put him in there, but for whatever reason, he's not going.
Yes, go in and get David and tell him we can't make it
There he
happen.
goes. There he goes. There he goes. He went. He's gone. He's gone.
They don't need Carmen. We're good on that. All right. And Mr. Taylor's being. And we're ready on Mr. Arzola, looks like. Mr. Brooks, are you ready on Mr. Arzola's case?
Judge, I still need to talk to Nicholas. I've got an MTR and a status from Susan. And we have a new case that's not alleged, but maybe something we could wrap up all together potentially.
All right, why don't y'all go chat? Is Nick in the room by himself now? Where's Nick? Oh, there he is. He's still here.
Oh,
Nick, hear me? Your microphone's turned off.
I see the breakout room.
Breakout room 5.
Thank you.
Number 5, go into breakout 5.
No one's going to breakout 5.
Nick must not be available. Nick?
I'm sorry, I'm right here. I had a call from an investigator. Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Did you say to dismiss it?
Nick, Will wants to talk to you about Miss Arzola's case, and she's got apparently another new number 1 somewhere that y'all don't know about.
Okay. All right. Or is he in breakout room 5?
Yes, in 5.
Okay. Sorry about that, Judge.
No problem.
Hey, Judge, just on a side note, since we have a little bit of time, our little friend that we've been talking about in
I'm
session-
taking us off of YouTube.